Have you ever played a video game with a particular message or theme throughout it and came away thinking, wow, I kinda don't vibe with that, broski? The last game I really dedicated a huge amount of time to last year was Hades 1. That's right, Jade man is a huge hipster. I played Hades 1 during all the hype for 2. Get on my level. I had a conscious understanding that the game's themes are supposed to be about family, connection, and bisexual panic. But when the credits were rolling and I heard the ending song, "It's in the Blood," I started to rethink a lot of stuff about the game, such as what the game's themes even were in the first place and how I ended up not feeling the way the game really intended me to feel at the end of it. So in an age where media is basically expected to thematically give the viewer bomb head behind a dumpster at an Arby's, we've been conditioned to see media that doesn't conform to our worldviews as automatically a threat. And you know what? There are some pieces of media that are, let's just say, extremely dangerous. However, I'm also of the opinion that we tend to overreact to things that are super minor, let's just say. After finally beating Hades enough times and getting Zagreus out of the underworld, he meets his mother, Queen Persephone, and finally convinces her to return back with him. Up to this point in the game, I'm like, heck yeah, let's go! Then a certain line from the ending theme caught my attention. Run all you like.
From the place you belong, it's always there, it's in the air, your dearest kin below the skin.
This line single-handedly recontextualized the entire game for me. All of a sudden, the game's tagline, "There is no escape," took on a whole new meaning. I always understood the core fundamental values of Hades to be about family, but I didn't consider the possibility that the game was trying to tell the viewer to accept their fuck-ass family, if you get what I'm saying. The game's core loop features our scraggly-ass protagonist Zagreus battling his way through the underworld to reach the surface and find his mother. The problem is that it turns out our boy is bound to the underworld and can't travel too far from its entrance without getting violently yanked back. Zagreus starts his escape attempts after he and his father Hades' relationship breaks down with a massive argument. I honestly came to sympathize with Zagreus because for most of the game, his father and a few other characters treat him with contempt and disrespect. Like, they really fucking hammer home like, oh, you're a fucking good for nothing bum, Zagreus. Honestly, if I was in his shoes, I'd want to leave too. Imagine every time you come home, your geezer ass dad has some bullshit to say to you. Imagine sharing a house with your bitter ex-girlfriend and you're forced to see and interact with her on a daily basis. Bro, imagine getting called a spoiled nepo baby by random people who don't understand your situation. I'd help out that bitch expeditiously, and the game would say that I was wrong for that, bro. That's right, that's the core theme of Hades, reconciliation. The game's core theme is that there is no escape from family ties, and it's better to work on those problems than try to leave. It specifically frames this as running away from the place you belong. Now, real quick before I continue, I want to say that I really enjoyed Hades overall as a game. I think its very character-driven, loosey-goosey interpretation of Greek mythology is super entertaining. I enjoyed beating the crap out of Zagreus' ex-girlfriend and then making up with her. I enjoyed Zagreus flirting with a disembodied Gorgon head and wondering how in the Hades they were gonna get it on. I enjoyed all the randomness and roguelike nonsense that's inherent to this genre. But that doesn't mean I can't disagree with the core message of the game, especially when I find the message to be not that harmful in the grand scheme of things. Creating art is like busting a fat nut. Hear me out, guys. Art is the manifestation of likes, dislikes, and core values of the person that makes it. Not everybody's gonna agree on the finer nuances of life, so you're absolutely not gonna vibe with everything another person or a group of people beat out. In this case, the thing that just would not leave my mind is the question, what if there's no way to recounsel? In Hades, the issues in the game are basically resolved through a lot of gift giving and the return of Zagreus' mother, Persephone. But what if there is no Persephone? In the real world, there isn't always gonna be that glue that holds the family together. What if Zagreus got outside of the underworld and never found Persephone? What then? The game just got a whole lot darker, didn't it? There's also the presumption that you're just supposed to work shit out with family members despite how badly they may have treated you. That it's possible to just make things work. I'm gonna say this, and I'm saying it from a personal experience. That's bullshit. People will change when they want to change. No amount of flirting and gift giving is gonna resolve fundamental incompatibilities between people, even if they are family. I remember hearing a story back in high school about a boy that was kicked out of his home after his family found out he was gay. This is a very common kind of story in this day and age. People are rejected for who they are and what they do all the time in family structures. In the game, the example that keeps coming to my mind is Ares. Ares is the Greek god of war and one of the various boon givers the game presents you with. Aside from the whole wanting you to deal death and bloodshed all the time, he's a chill guy. He's just a little guy, okay? The thing that really caught my eye, though, was how the other Olympians, his family, treats him. He's feared and resented as the god of war, with some of the others telling Zagreus to watch himself with Ares. All the while, Ares doesn't do anything worse than the rest of the Olympian gods you encounter. Zeus, his own father, laments the fact that Ares is his son and wishes that Zagreus was his son instead. Ares is hated not for anything he did to his family, but for who he is. He was born as the god of war, and for that, he is resented and feared by the people who are supposed to love him. Despite that, he stays on Olympus and does his job regardless of what his family thinks of him. Gods in the world are fundamentally bound to their roles and purpose, but you and me, dear viewer Kun, who live in the real world, we aren't. You don't need to feel like you have to tolerate mistreatment from people just because they are related to you, nor are you obligated to fix relationships and other people. And that is what actually bothered me about Hades. But once again, I still love the game and how it interpreted Greek mythology, and I don't regret my time with it at all. Honestly, I still recommend it to people looking for a solid roguelike to sink their teeth into. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. May we meet again.